today we're making sauerkraut. So I have all of my cabbage thinly sliced with a knife, sharp knife, and thinly sliced. Then I added all of my cabbage. While my workstation is clean, so I added all my cabbage to a bucket. I tared the bucket beforehand, and you weigh your cabbage. So here I have it at 1581. You multiply that by 0.12, and the amount that you get is the amount of salt that you needed. So this equaled out to be, I believe it was 31 grams. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little bowl. Okay, so I'm going to tear this again. I'm going to add 31 grams of sea salt. We got 31 grams. So we're going to take this and we're going to add it to our bucket. All right. So once the salt is in, it needs to sort of activate. So I have this wooden stick here. It's actually for sauerkraut, but I'm sure you could just massage it with your hands, or if you have another stick, I suppose, just clean it, and I'm sure you could use that too. The point is that you want to smash this until you have a lot of liquid in your bucket. So we're just going to keep on smashing it and smashing it until we have a lot of liquid. And then we'll come back and see what it looks like once all the liquid has built up. So then there are a few different ways that you can ferment your sauerkraut. So I always take a cabbage leaf. So I just take a leaf like this and I cut it up and I wrap it so that the whole leaf is like tucked around, okay, so that nothing is floating at the top, it's just liquid. And then you can get these little glass things. This is like more of a, I don't know, fancier thing, and it just weights it down. I know a lot of people that just use baggies of water. That works as well. Whatever you can do to just weigh that down so that you don't have a bunch of cabbage floating around the top, because you want all of your cabbage to be underneath liquid. All right, so then when you put on your cover, if you're just using a regular cover like this, just put it on very loosely. The pressure inside of your container is going to build up, so every couple of days you're going to have to just burp your jar. So you're going to have to let that pressure out and then put it back, and then every couple of days you can kind of look at it. If there's anything floating, you can take it off, or any sometimes like a little bit of scum will build up at the top, you can just remove it. Another way to do it is this Ball has come up with these self-burping jars. So they have a little plastic with holes here, and they just let the pressure out naturally. And they come with these springs inside. So these springs, I still put a cabbage leaf, these springs will push everything down really, really tightly. So I have a lot of liquid at the top, so I'm not concerned with these at all. Then there is also another option. It's called the Perfect Pickler. This one I haven't used in a while, but it has this thing that sits at the top, like this. You add water on one side and it sort of pressurizes it, so that goes at the top. And yeah, so that's another option. Another option is to use these stones. So my good son, hello, smashing some cabbage. So you have these stones. These are weighted stones. I love smashing stuff. Yes, these are weighted stones. So if you were to be making it in that 5-pound bucket, you could put a cabbage leaf and then put these stones, or a plate. You don't gotta get fancy with it, but I just happen to have these items. You can put these right directly on top of the cabbage leaf to also keep the liquid floating above your cabbage. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put these jars in a cool, dark location for about 5 weeks or so. We're gonna check on them probably every week, but every couple days for the jars that don't have the this little plastic thing on there, then we will have to go down and burp the jars. And check out this. This is just the cabbage that we picked today. Yeah, so we still have half of the garden cabbage that we still need to harvest. So this is just today's haul. So I think that we probably got rid of
A lot.
yeah, a lot. I would say like, well, a little bit less than half. But we are going to donate some of these to the food bank, and we're going to give some to friends, and who knows, possibly even sell a few. We're going to have a lot of cabbage. So yeah, that is what's going on in the kitchen today. Sauerkraut. Oh yeah, so I wanted to mention that you can also buy these. So these are just sort of like a nipple, and then when you pop it open like that, do you see how the air comes out? So that would sort of also burp your jars for you. So this would go underneath a ring and just sit at the top of a lid. Although it is made for the smaller mason jars, so they have these sizes here. So you'd put these underneath your ring, and then that would burp your jars for you. But I would probably put one of these inside the jar just to hold all the liquid down. So yeah, and all these things you can get either online, or these ones are actually called mason tops. So lots of different options. All right, so some of the benefits of sauerkraut is that it will store for several months, up to a year, in an airtight container in a cold room. It also has a good source of probiotics, vitamin C, iron, which just benefit to a stronger immune system. Also, it can really help you lose weight. It's yeah, it's just overall really good for your health. So this is what the liquid looks like after it has been smashed quite a bit, or the sauerkraut I mean. So you can see down here the liquid that has built up. So when you grab it, it's all very wet, like you can squeeze it and then the water is just dripping from it. Right, so that's what you want, so that all that liquid, so that when you push it down in your jar, that liquid will sit at the top. Anyhow, I hope you found these videos helpful, or this video helpful. And everybody has sort of their own way of making sauerkraut. This is just basic. It's just cabbage and salt, pretty easy. And you can make it as fancy or as simple as you want, really. And with all the tools, like I showed you, you can make them with fancy tools, or you can just, I know people that just put it in a giant bucket like this and throw a stone on it. If you're going to use rocks from outside, though, I would recommend putting them in a baggie, because rocks are very porous. So a lot of the things that are in stones can leach into your sauerkraut, and it's not very sanitary. So I would put that in a bag. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching.